My next guest is among those who've called for a second special counsel to investigate FBI corruption. Joining us tonight is Republican Congressman Francis Rooney of Florida, Vice Chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee. Great to have you with us, Congressman. The prospects for, and as I've talked with a number of folks in Congress, I understand the frustration, and I don't have the best answer. But I really wonder if a special counsel, when we watch what is happening with Robert Mueller, if that is the answer here to find out more about what's going on in the FBI.
Well, the special counsel can do a lot of things that IG can't do. And
Right.
I think if you get the right special counsel, someone's got a real knife in their teeth that wants to go in there and root out this partisan criminality that we seem to be seeing on all fronts of Hillary Clinton and the FBI and the DOJ, we might get something done here.
Yeah, I think that's right. If a name were to spring to mind, I'd even be more comfortable, but it doesn't to my mind. Is there someone who does spring to your mind?
Well, I'm a business guy, so I don't know a whole lot of lawyers. But
You're bragging, aren't you? You're bragging.
There are guys like Ron DeSantis, Robert Bork. There's some pretty well-known prosecutors out there that have accomplished a lot for our country.
You bet. And Ron DeSantis, I think, is an extraordinarily talented person. And would make a terrific special counsel. It is, so we're in pretty good shape on that. Now we just have to convince Ron DeSantis, I suppose, who would, I think, prefer to be governor of the state of Florida. Let's talk about what we're seeing here right now, and that's a special counsel that's operating, frankly, without a relevant portfolio. He's supposed to be investigating collusion. And Mueller is simply just going out on witch hunts and fishing expeditions, widening a probe that has produced absolutely no evidence that would support the mission that he was employed to find, that is collusion with Russia.
Exactly. I think it's highly unfortunate that a person of such a distinguished career and reputation would have set up this investigation to be so laden with Democrats, so partisan, and so, as you say, out in the wilderness instead of focused on the mission. All this time and money that's been spent hasn't proved any collusion at all.
It hasn't proved collusion, and we're watching now what looks to be a battle shaping up between Speaker Ryan, Mitch McConnell, the Senate Majority Leader, and the President on the issue of tariffs, for crying out loud. Ryan has found another way to embarrass himself and the Republican Party opposing this president. What do you make of it, and what do you think will unfold?
Well, I don't know. The thing that I would like to see the terrorists focus on first and foremost is China, because I think they are one of the biggest problems that we face in the world right now. And whether aluminum and steel are the best ones to go after China, or electronics and other kinds of things are. But you know, we have huge trade deficits all over the world, and it's a problem. The president's right to be concerned about it, but we also don't want to unravel supply chains that make America competitive either. But China's a menace.
Yeah, you know, those supply chains are the making of U.S. multinationals, though, not U.S. policy. U.S. policy has followed the dictate of K Street, the Business Roundtable, the Chamber of Commerce. Meanwhile, we haven't run a trade surplus in this country since 1975, Congressman. This president should be saluted by everyone for putting those tariffs on and saying we're done with free trade. That means it's going to cost us and American workers and working men and women and small business people fortunes. This has got to end.
You make a real good point about small business and suppliers to these companies, and I think that's a very important thing. And, you know, there's no such thing as really free trade.
No, there sure hasn't been.
Freer trade. I mean, I think we've got to have a balance in how much trade deficit is reasonable and how much is, as you say, too prejudicial to our internal production capacity.
Well, let me give you a suggestion of what I think on how much is acceptable. You know, 43 years of trade deficits by the world's strongest economy. Consecutive years of trade deficits is just a monument to the power of K Street, the Chamber of Commerce, the Business Roundtable, and U.S. multinationals. And it is really, really past time that we put the American citizen, who is more than a taxpayer and a consumer and a worker, as you know, first and foremost. And thank God we've got a president with the principle and the guts and the intelligence to do just that. and it's fun to watch everybody squirm as he does the right thing. Congressman, you get the last word.
Well, thank you for having me on, and thank you for continuing to bring visibility to this horrendous out in the wilderness investigation. I think we ought to find out how much money Mueller spent and how many trees he's cut down and paper he's made to accomplish so little.
Congressman, great to have you with us as always. Thanks. Congressman Francis Rooney.